And we have Max Slavo's site, SHTF Plan, craphitsthefan.com. Love it. SHTFplan.com. What a great domain name. China taunts the U.S. We will survive your trade war. I will survive. Oh, yes, I will. When you have people in sweatshops working to work for willing to work, not working for, willing to work for pennies on the dollar wages, let's be fair here. That's hard to compete with when you live in the old American lifestyle. Because if you had to compete with that, you ain't gonna live the American lifestyle. Just gonna say that. But China is taunting the U.S. over the tension increasing trade war. China authorities have warned through state media that they will survive the trade war with the U.S. Lindsey Williams, elite friend, watch China. China's the big one. As tariffs are added and prices go up on goods and services to combat increasing government regulation of the economy, China insists it can handle a trade war with the U.S. Of course they can, since American consumers are going to be the ones footing the bill for this horrific idea. The declaration of a survival of the trade war appears to be in response to the Chinese government's announcement on Friday that a list of possible tariffs could affect imported goods. The tariffs range from 5% to 25% on $60 billion worth of U.S. agricultural, metal, and chemical goods. The tariffs would go into effect if the U.S. makes good on its threat to raise tariffs to 25% on some $200 billion worth of Chinese goods, $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. The next day, President Trump said that the U.S. still has the upper hand in the trade war, but according to most financial and economic experts, Trump is wrong. China has to defend its right to development, and we don't fear sacrificing short-term interests, the Global Times wrote in an editorial. The U.S. is trying to conclude the trade dispute swiftly, but China is prepared for a protracted war. In future, the U.S. economy will depend more on the Chinese market than the other way around, he said. But the editorial also highlighted China's rationality and said its people do not want a trade war. Well, the American people don't want a trade war either, and frankly, they can't afford it. The Chinese actually have savings on hand to spend in case of emergency. The same cannot be said about the average American. Most Americans live paycheck to paycheck, meaning any increase in the cost of goods or services could be detrimental. But according to Fortune, $1 million a year in imports, Bloomberg, whatever that is, the list of almost 6,000 items that China unveiled Friday may be meant more to save face than as a direct tit for tat, as 500 of the listed items aren't traded in the first place, and another 2,000 see less than reported. Meanwhile, the American side has played down the trade war's impacts on its own economy, with President Trump claiming without evidence that U.S. steel would open several new mills due to U.S. tariffs on foreign steel. I will say, when Trump makes a claim like that, though, I think it's pretty safe to say if he says something, he's going to do it. So far, the trade giants, the U.S. and China, are in the midst of stop-and-go trade negotiations. China has also complained to the World Trade Organization about the U.S. tariffs. Such disputes are common. The U.S. and China had a total of 32 ongoing disputes last month, and the U.S. and EU had 52. And that's about it. Oh, and he's even got his own little message, that's what I like this. Copyright information. Copyright SHTF Plan and Max Slavo. This content may be freely reproduced in full or in part in digital form with the full attribution to the author and the link. Of course. Absolutely. Why? Because he just wants to get the information out like me. I just want people to hear what needs to be heard. And this could, a trade war affects everybody. And yeah, China's got how many people living over there? And again, they're used to slave wages and labor. That's like common over there. We don't have that over here common at all. We can't live this American lifestyle. We can't pay our giant mortgages and rent payments, and here we are, have nothing left over to show for it anyways. You think we're going to now go compete with that, you can't compete with that. But Trump's got a plan. We'll see what happens. Take care.